The people have been asking, are blogs back? And the answer is yes, but honestly, they really never left. If you're looking to get started with creating blogs through Wix, then go ahead and have a seat and let's get into it. So to get started, you can either go to the App Store or you can search Wix Blog towards the top right. Do keep in mind when searching, at the top you will see the first option that says Wix Blog. That is just going to take you to a page that tells you more about the blog and using it. You want to go down to under where it says apps for your site and click Wix Blog there. Next, you'll be taken to this page and you want to go ahead and click Add to Site, which will then take you to your Wix Editor. For the sake of this demo, we are using Wix Studio, but this works either with the standard version of Wix or Wix Studio as well. So if you previously had a blog like I did, you will then be brought to this page, which is the blog page. If you do not already have a blog, then you should see a page that asks you to add it to your site, which will then bring you to this same page. Now, being that we are on the blog page, as you can see, I have some of my categories that I previously used at the top, and then I have all my posts. On the left-hand side, under site pages, we have the blog page that we're currently on, and then we have the post page. The post page is going to take you to some of those individual posts. This is basically what it will look like when your customer or your blog reader go to each individual blog. So this example is using keep customers coming back. So if they was to click on that one from the main blog page, this is exactly what it will look like. Now what we're going to do is start in the Wix Editor and just look at some of the ways in which you can edit your blog post, because you do want to make it unique to you and your business. So first I have the option to either manage posts or settings. Manage posts is going to take me to the post that I currently have. We're going to go ahead and go to settings. As you can see here, we have a list of options of what I would like to display. So because I am the only one writing these blogs, I don't care to have my name on these blogs. Publish date, yes, I want to go ahead and leave that. Reading time is basically a guesstimate that Wix uses to say how long it'll take a reader to read your blog from start to finish. You can leave that if you would like. It's definitely beneficial for readers who may look at it and say, I can't read this, it looks too long. That'll give them an idea of actually it's not that long. It's only a 4-minute read. It's only a 2-minute read. So that one is up to you. To turn that off, you'll just click reading time. We have our descriptions that's currently on. Category label, I want to go ahead and put on so readers have a general idea of what it's, not just what it's about, but what category it fits in as well. So the more actions menu are the 3 dots here. And let's go to preview mode. So in preview mode, if we click those 3 dots, currently they have it set where a person can share the post. And clicking on that, it allows them to share it to their Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or copy and paste the link. So if you don't want your readers to share, then you will go ahead and turn off where it says more actions menu. Next, you have your rating counter, which is already set, your comment counter, view counter, like counter. If you decide, you know what, I'm only going with one category, you can choose to just turn off categories. But if you do have multiple categories and you know that you are going to be blogging heavily, then I would recommend go ahead and leaving that on the category menu labels, as well as clicking the category label option here, just so that it creates a better user experience where people aren't automatically overwhelmed by all the blogs that you have. They can choose categories based on their interests. Next, we have layout. This is currently set using editorial layout, but you have the option to change it here side by side. Maybe if you don't have many, you do want to make sure if you're doing side by side, the reason I say not many, because you don't want people to have to scroll endlessly. Next, you have your tout version here, your magazine version, full post. If your posts aren't that long, or again, if it's not that many, you have one column. If you want to crop or fit your images, I personally would just recommend cropping based on the size of the images that you're going to use or create. As you can see, it's currently set to crop with a ratio of 4:3, but my picture is being cut off because these are the pictures that I also use for YouTube thumbnails. So if I set that to the ratio of 16:9, then as you can see the whole picture there, but it does make it smaller. So you do want to make sure you have a set image ratio for each of your pictures so that it is seamless, so that it does have the same aesthetic and visual across the board. So I'm just going to leave this for now 16:9. You have more options here related to the overall layout. If you want to choose the different post size, the post height, the number of lines for the title. If your titles are a little lengthy, maybe I want to go up there, or if I'm keeping it short, let's say under 5 words, then I can be okay with maybe 1 or 2 lines there. So post loading is important. You have 2 options, either to do an infinite scroll or pagination up to 100 pages. So right now, I think I have about 7 blogs posted, right? So if I do infinite scroll, it's just going to keep going no matter how many posts that I have. However, if I change it to pagination, then right now it's set to 13. I only have 7. Of course, all are going to show, but let's say I want to only show 4. Then you can see at the bottom here, it has where I could then just go to the next page, which I can't do in edit mode, but you can do it in preview mode or once you publish it. When I go to that next page, it's going to show me those additional posts. So going back to settings, next you have your design. This is where you're going to set things like your font, your colors, and your video settings if you want to start playing videos when your reader hovers over, or if you want to autoplay as soon as they're on the page, or the video is within the sight of the reader, or only on click. For this, I would recommend either doing on hover or on click. The reason you may not want to autoplay is because you do want to think about the overall speed of your site. If you have all of your videos on autoplay, that may slow down your website just a little, especially if you also have a lot of blogs. I know some people have a lot of animations going on. So many different things, it adds up. So you do want to keep that in mind. And again, just for the user experience as well, if I go to your website and so many things are automatically moving or automatically playing, I may get overwhelmed easily and just be like, you know what, forget about it. But if it's on hover, at least you know at that point, you're basically like on the video, right? You already have some interest. So playing it on hover is just going to increase that interest. If it's on click, the same thing, it's intentional. So you do want to just keep that in mind. So next, we are still in the Wix editor, but we're going to go to the post page. Again, the post page is once they actually click on the blog from the main page, what is it they're going to actually see? So let's go to preview mode first. So we are in preview mode of that post page. What you'll see after you actually click on the blog post, as you can see, you have your name, your date, and the read. So next we have my title, and then we have the actual read. And we have my video here that I could go ahead and play, and this is embedded from YouTube. We're going to talk more about actually creating the blogs, but this is just to show you what it looks like to your reader. Of course, everything here you could go back and change, from the font size to the colors, the font style. And then below I have the number of views, how many comments. If someone decides to like, you'll see your likes there, comments below. This is the options to share that you can leave as is or turn those off. So going back to the editor, if I want to make any changes here, same thing, I just click, go to settings. Now I have those same options on the right hand side as far as the name, the image, the dates, everything that will display there, as well as the design, as I mentioned, the fonts, how they show up, the rating, the text color, the text style, as well as the navigation. Now, something to make note of, there is an option for plugins here. So you can add a restaurant menu to your blog, a video as I did, for people to be able to follow you on TikTok, different button options. There are so many different plugins, as you can see, just scrolling endlessly. I would recommend going through this. Unfortunately, there isn't an option to search from here, but I would recommend just going through this to see what type of plugins may benefit your reader for your business to be engaged a little more. So this is an option as well. Again, you just want to click that plug icon, then go from there. Now let's say I want a part of my blog on a different page. This is my current home page. We are under construction right now, but let's say I want to go ahead and add it. So I'm just going to click add section here. And then I can go towards the left side and click add element. And we are going to search for blog. So this is going to take me to the option for blog you see at the bottom left. And I have the option to add post list, recent posts, a category menu, the tags, or show my archives. So with the options I have, let's say I just want to go ahead and add recent posts to my home page. You could just click it, it'll add it, or you could simply drag and drop. Now again, you can see where those settings show up. I have the option to configure how I want these to display. I can choose all posts, or I can choose a specific category that I just want to display on my home page or any page. If I have tags added to my blogs, which you should, and we're going to get more into that, I can go ahead and choose specific blogs that I want to display here. Again, you have the option for either a single page or a pagination, which we talked about. I have the option to configure the things that I want to display, as well as the layout and the design, from the colors, text styles, and text selections, what exactly I want to display, how I want to display it on my home page or any other page. I would recommend adding your blog, something like this, a preview of the blogs you have, whether that's recent blogs or maybe your most popular category of blogs, to your home page. Because your home page or your landing page, that is going to be the first place where people go to get to know more about you and your business. So yes, they may see blog in the navigation menu at the top, but sometimes people land on your website and are quick to scroll. So having a blog post, even if it's at the end of your home page, that will give them a preview like, okay, not only do I know you have a blog, but I can see here the titles of your blog, the beginning of the text of your blog, to see if any of those pique my interest. Now going back to settings, as you can see here, I currently only have 3 blogs showing, which is set from the settings page at the bottom where it says total posts displayed. If you want to increase that, this is where you'll go to do that. You have the option again to just do single page or pagination. Nothing to add when you're adding your blog to the home page or a different page. As you can see here, there's no title. So you can just click add elements and then click title. So you can personally add a title and description right above your blog post. I would highly recommend that versus just adding your blog and nothing else to it. So you do want to give them some sort of introduction, like, yes, this is a blog, not just random posts. So now that we have the gist of what the front end of your blog is going to look like and how to make changes to it, let's go ahead and dive a bit deeper and focus on the back end of your blogs. So to get back to that, we're just going to click the menu icon towards the top left and click dashboard, or you can just go back to Wix in general. So to get to this page on the left hand side, you see where it says blog. You're just going to click on that and it's going to take you to the blog overview page. So now that we're on the blog overview page, you can see front and center, you do have the options to create a blog using AI. You also have the option towards the top right to create a new post or create a category, add a writer, import posts, see blog reports, and blog settings. Before we get to creating a new post, let's go ahead and look further down on the overview page. So we have our analytics at the top showing how many post views that we've received within the last 30 days, unique visitors, new subscribers, engagement. If I want to see more metrics, I would just click here where it says go to blog analytics, and that is going to take me to the analytics page where I can see beyond just the 30 days and I can see other metrics beyond the ones that are on that overview page. So I can see posts by how many views or how many clicks, the reading time, the engagement. And then right now my Google search is disconnected as I am revamping and pivoting my business. But if you have yours connected, which you should, focusing on SEO, which we'll get into as well, you will see your Google search analytics here below on the analytics page. So I'm completely redoing my entire site as I pivoted my business, and the blog will be coming back, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Going back to the overview page, because that did take us to the analytics page, we're going to scroll down a bit more. We have our latest post. It gives us a general overview of what those posts were, how many views, and from there I have the option to either edit, pin the post, add to subscription plan, which we're also going to talk about monetization for your blogs as well. Or I could duplicate posts if I'm sticking to the same format for posts and just want to update it based on like the category or the topic. From here, I also have the option to revert to draft or move it to trash. Next, we have just other ways to get to some of the things that we're going to hit on: the reports, the SEO, import posts from different sites, notifications, and then you have some ways to get further help through Wix itself when it comes to creating blogs. So moving on, we are going to go to the post page next. This is just going to show all of our published blogs, which ones we currently have in draft. If there's any pending review, let's say you have more than one person who is going to be creating blogs with you, and you have a more formal process of someone creates, someone review it, and it's scheduled, that will then work for you. You can create as many blogs as you want in one setting and then schedule them for later. So you will see all of your scheduled posts here, and then all of the ones that never got published or that I just needed to trash are there. So next we have comments, which this is amazing because this is going to give you a view of all your comments on all of your blogs versus having to individually select each blog post and then see the comments there. I'm going to go ahead and leave a comment on one of mine so we can get a view of what that looks like on the back end. All right, so I left the comment. Let's go ahead and refresh this. Okay, so you can see here, I can see the comment, I can see who left it, what post they left it on, and when they left the comment. If I go ahead and click view, it's just going to take me to the comment itself, so I can go ahead and reply straight from my back end. In my reply, I can add an image, a video, I can send a GIF, an emoji, and where it says view member, this is basically going to take you to the member or customer profile of this person. So if this person previously signed up for anything on your website before, let's say they subscribed or made a purchase, when I click view member, it's going to take me to their member profile where I can see all of those things. Or if they just left a comment, this is the first time they've ever been on my site, it will show that as well. Now, what else is important on this page is your more actions and your moderation rules. Under more actions, you have your comment settings. So you have the option of who can leave comments if you want to make it members only, where they will have to sign in, or you can allow anyone to comment. One thing you do want to keep in mind, if you do allow anyone, you do take the risk of people maybe spamming your site. So even if you just say everyone for now, but if it comes to a point where you have someone spamming your site or leaving crazy things, you always have the option to change it. From here, you can also allow people who comment to leave ratings. There are other options here for blog settings, but right now we're just going to focus on the comments. So next you have your moderation rules. These are rules currently set by Wix, which is your spam and AI spam moderation. But let's say you want to create a new rule. You'll just click add rule towards the top right and put your rule name, whose comments are moderated, if you want to do it for guests, new members, or everyone, what type of comments are moderated. So if you don't want just any and everyone adding links to things, you do want to be mindful of that, especially because it can put your other readers at risk. Or even if it's certain words that you want to prevent from people posting. Let's say you don't want people to be able to comment anything political or any curse words or anything like that. You can go with custom words and basically add what words that you do want to moderate or basically restrict. So based on the options that you choose, you can either send it to pending, which it'll also send you a notification, or you could just reject it, let Wix automatically do the work for you. And when creating the rules, you also have the option of who to exclude from the rule. So that is pretty much it for comments. Let's go ahead and go to categories now. So here we have the categories that we already have set up. If I want to go ahead and delete categories, which I don't mind doing, I can just go ahead and click delete. If I want to rename them, I can just click edit. This is going to allow me to rename the category, add a description, and add an image. I also have my SEO settings towards the right where I can add a title tag, my URL slug, so it'll be like dbelladigital.com/categories/blog posts. You don't want to make it that generic. You do want to tailor it so that it does increase your search engine optimization results. Again, we're going to go more in depth with that, but just focusing on the category itself. When it comes to description as well as the image, this is definitely beneficial. Remember, we added the blog to the home page, right? But let's say instead of adding recent posts, I want to add my blog categories. It's going to pull from here. It's going to pull that category image and description from here. So if you do have it somewhere where you're going to be listing those categories, you do want to make sure this is completely filled in. And even beyond that, for the purpose of SEO and people finding your post, finding your page, you do want to make sure this is completed as well. In addition to modifying categories that currently exist, you can create categories using the help of AI. Next, we have our tags. This is going to help people find related content on your blog, right? So let's say, for instance, we're talking about this video creating blogs. That can, in addition to a category of blog structure, let's say, I could add additional tags to it like Wix. I can add small business optimization, search engine optimization, something like customer attraction. These are just tags that's included with your individual blog post. So even if you're not sure right now, you will have the option to add these tags later on after the post is created as well. Next, we have our writers. As I mentioned, it's just me, but let's say I want to add someone else as a writer or hire somebody as a copywriter. I can just click on roles and permissions. This is going to allow me to see the different roles. So when figuring out which role will fit best, I could just scroll down until I see blog roles, and we have the option for blog editor, blog writer, and they'll each tell you what the role allows. The guest writer is very beneficial, especially if you're collabing with someone else. You can grant them permission to be a guest writer, which would then have to be approved and published by you, but it allows you to collaborate with other writers. So in addition to roles and permissions, going back to this writers page, I have the option to add writer. I can invite a new writer, or I can create a writer profile. If I choose to invite a new writer, it's just going to ask me for their email and the role that I want to assign them. Now, as you can see at the bottom, I currently am on the business plan, which only allows 5 writers. If I need any more than that, Wix is going to ask me to upgrade. So you do want to just keep that in mind. But let's say I want to add a writer and create a writer portfolio. This is just going to take me to this page here where I can then add a profile picture if needed, title and name, click save, and you are done. So next, let's get into the monetization before we get into actually creating the blog. There are several ways that you can get paid making blogs, and I love that Wix have added this all in one spot, because oftentimes people, especially when starting blogs, they may not know how they can get paid. So I have the options to set up pricing plans. That's basically if I want to set my blog behind a paywall, something similar to Patreon, if you're familiar with that, where it has a membership, and when people pay, let's say on a monthly basis, then they have access to read my blog. You can monetize with AdSense, get paid through forms, add it to your store. You can link products to your blog post. So if I am writing about something that I found in Walmart, I can then go ahead and add the link to that. directly to my blog, or I can even add a link to something that I have in my own store as well. You also have the option to create online programs, or even if you have bookings, and add those to your blogs. So there are so many ways to monetize your blog, monetize the things that you have to say. So again, all in one spot, you have your ways to get monetized. And even through the Wix editor, through those plugins, there may be additional ways to get monetized as well. This is one thing that I love about Wix, especially being able to have experienced Wix for the past about 10 years and really watch them grow. In the past 2 years or so, they have really centered the users. So Wix does have so much to offer, but what they do is make everything easy to find. Things are in multiple places. You can always search for what you need. So I really enjoyed the fact that they put something like this all in one place versus you trying to have to figure it out by yourself. Now let's get into actually writing the blog. You're going to go ahead and go back to the overview, click on create new posts. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to take something that was previously written, or I could have used AI. Now, what I will say is when it comes to actually creating the blog through Wix, I do wish it was set up a little more like email marketing, where there's more options and for you to start kind of with a blank slate. So from here, I don't have the option to edit the look of the title. That is going to be done through Wix Editor, playing around with the settings of the user interface. That is not going to be an option here. So I do have the option, however, to edit what my actual blog post, how that's going to be formatted from here. So I have the option to change it based on settings I already have saved for my heading and paragraph. So it's already set for 18. I could change the font size, the boldness, the highlight colors. I could add links here. Let's say like yesterday, I can just highlight it, add a link, youtube.com/dbelladigital. So of course this doesn't apply, but just to show you what it looks like when you do add a link. And you don't have to just link to a web address. You could link to a section, to a specific page, a store product, a store catalog. So that is my basic text there, but let's go ahead and see what else we can add. So if you click add towards the left, I have the option to add different media, different elements, and I could add things from my site. So this is also where some of those plugins come in play. Right now, these are the only 3 things that I have installed, but let's say you're a restaurant. They now have Wix Restaurant. That should come up here as well. Any of the tools that you have set up through Wix should come up through here as well. If I want to add a product here, I can just click add, select the product I would like, and it's going to format it from me. But I do have the option to go to settings and play around with the layout or the design of it. Or if I'm not quite sure, I could just simply go to presets and get some ideas of things that's already created here. Next, we have AI tools, different things we can add to our blog with the use of AI. Of course, we saw where we can create the blog post itself, but from here, you also have the option to add images, your title, your outline, those meta tags, which we're going to get into SEO, or use that AI marketing agent we recently talked about. So under the post settings, we have our feature image. This is going to be the image that shows in our feed. So if I was to save this and go to the user interface or the front end of the website, I would basically be able to see this picture along with the title and everything else. So when we looked at the front side of the website before, under the description or where it shows start the paragraph, you may have seen some lines from the beginning of the blog post. If you do not want that, you can add this here where it's basically going to show the lines or sentences that you have here. If you leave this blank, which there's nothing wrong with that, it's just going to pull a few lines from the very beginning of your blog post. You also have the option to select a publish date. As you can see from this selection, there is no way to select a future date. This is not where you're going to go to schedule posts. To schedule posts, you do have to go towards the top right, click the 3 dots, and then go down to schedule posts. Going back to our settings, you also can relate different posts or feature this post. And this is also another place where you can choose to either allow comments or disable comments. You have your category, which is going to be the category you're going to assign to this specific blog. You can select ones that you already have that exist or create a new one here. You also have your tags. Like I mentioned, you do have the option to add tags in the blog settings, or when you're adding a new blog, this is where you're going to go to add those tags here. So this one is talking about Wix back in stock alerts. So I may put a tag like Wix back in stock, customer retention, and you can add up to 30 different tags here. If you're still unsure what to add here, just think about things that people may search in order to find your blog. You can use search tools like Answer the Public and Google Trends to determine your tags. And not even just your tags. You can use Answer the Public and Google Trends to figure out what your next blog topic is as well. We're going to go back to SEO, but let's go ahead and go down to monetize. Here you have those same options to either set up paywalls, set up plans, offer subscriber only content. You could just click get started to go through that. If you want to offer different languages for your blog, Wix does offer a multilingual app. And also, this isn't just for your blog either. Wix also offers a multilingual app for your website as well. So that's something you definitely want to take advantage of if you have customers or want to reach customers in different regions. And then we have our apps, which is going to be apps to basically optimize your blog post and drive more traffic. So that can be adding recipes, if you want to upsell your product, or if you even want to use other forms of AI like ChatGPT to create your content. Now let's talk about optimizing your blog. I know this is the part everybody's been waiting for, because it's all about driving traffic to your site, to your blog, getting your blogs read, your products bought, your services sold, right? So some of the things that you want to focus on, as I mentioned, you can search your next topics as well as your keywords using places and tools like Google Trends or Answer the Public. You can even research your competition to figure out what are some things they're talking about. And it's not to copy or anything like that, but just to gain inspiration and put your own twist on it, put your own uniqueness on it. So some things that you want to focus on after you have your main keyword. Let's say for this one, our main keyword is back in stock alerts, right? You do want to make sure that keyword is featured in your title. So I already have it in my title here, right? You also want to make sure that keyword is in the first paragraph of your post. So I have it in bold here, back in stock alerts. You also want to make sure it's the first part of your title tag. So we're going to click on search engine optimization here. I'm going to go to basics, and my title tag is basically the same thing as the title of my blog. But if you wanted it to be different, I could just say something like Wix back in stock alerts. The title tag is what people are going to see when your page or the result shows up in Google. So you can see the preview here. Instead of that full title, which people may not even read, it's just going to say Wix back in stock alerts. Another thing you want to make sure that it is included in that keyword is in your meta description. So I'm just going to summarize and talk about what this page is about. Between 155 and 165 characters. You don't want to go overboard, but you do want to make sure there is enough information there to help your blog become visible through search platforms like Google. Another place you want to make sure you're adding that keyword is your URL slug. So right now, the URL of this page is this entire title. I do not want that. Instead, I can just do something like Wix back in stock alert. And last, I just want to make sure that back in stock alerts, that main keyword I'm using, is in additional places throughout the blog as well. I have it here. I may have it in some other areas. Again, this is the previous blog that I wrote, but those are just some places you want to make sure that main keyword, which is the topic of your blog, are located. you do still want to make it customer centric, people centric. So focus on solving a problem for a person, being a solution for a person, being entertainment for a person. Don't get so hung up on keywords that you're creating blogs just to be found in Google, and then when people actually click on the blog, all they see is a bunch of keywords that you use just to get on Google, but then it just don't make sense. So don't focus on creating it for the search engine, but for the people you are trying to target. Now let's go ahead and use the SEO assistant that Wix has supplied us. So I'm going to just do back in stock alerts. I'm going to click save. So now I have a list of how I can optimize my blog and the impact of each thing that is telling me to add. So as I mentioned, having that focus keyword in your header, right, or your title, that is going to be high. That is going to impact your blog more than something like adding it as a subheading, right? In addition, add an image or video to the post. So let me go ahead and add a picture. This is going to be another way for my blog to be seen. So this image has nothing to do with this blog, but I'm just going to add it for the sake of this tutorial. So I have my image added. Then I want to go ahead and click on settings. In the settings, I am going to see where it says alternate text. This is where I'm going to detail what this image is about, and I'm going to also make sure I have that keyword in the alternate text here. So right now I have beyond the algorithm. This is a completely unrelated picture. But let's say instead it said back in stock alerts. I'm just going to detail that this image is a cover photo of the back in stock alerts YouTube tutorial video. I'm going to add the text 4 ways to increase your clients. For this, I'm not just focusing on SEO, but accessibility as well. Just imagine someone reading this who may be using a device that's translating this page for them. They are not going to be able to see this picture, but the alternate text will describe what the picture shows. So going back to our SEO assistant, as you can see, now that I've added an image, I have a check mark next to it. And then I still have a warning next to alternate text for all images simply because I did not add anything there. So this is how simple and easy Wix make it for you, especially as a beginner to blog. Next, we're going to go ahead and go to basics. Again, we talked about that title tag. You're going to also add a meta description here and make sure your URL includes that keyword. If you need advanced settings for your blogs, here you can add your markup, your meta tags, and additional tags again to further help you with SEO. This is a little more advanced, so I wouldn't recommend touching anything here if you are new to blogging. Next is your social share. This is what's going to show up when people share your blog. Right now, there isn't an image. I would just upload the same image that I'm going to be using within the blog itself, unless you would like to use something different. I have my title and a description, which again, you can change the description here. If you do leave this blank, it's just going to pull from the first few lines up to 500 characters from your blog post. Some additional tips when it comes to improving your blog's SEO. Choose formats that are easy to follow, like tutorials, lists, frequently asked questions, how-to guides. Even this blog that I previously created, moving forward, I don't think I would create a blog like this because it is a lot to read, and just reading, like somebody could open a book. You do want to make it interesting. So having different things like tutorials, lists, or frequently asked questions, it does break it up a bit so it doesn't seem like people are reading a whole book. Of course, a blog, it is going to be reading, but again, make it intentional, make it entertaining, make it easy to read. Even when it comes to adding stuff like images or videos, you can add those things so that it makes the information easier to understand. Just don't be so focused on adding words and more words, right? In addition to adding the descriptive alternative text to your images, make sure you are using links to other relevant pages that we talked about on your website, cross-linking to other websites. Even if you collab with people, you can also get them to add your links to their website. It's different ways so that you are creating those backlinks and increasing overall traffic to your website. Another thing is you do want to make sure your blog is mobile friendly. If we go back to the post page, for instance, you have the options at the top. Right now, by default, it is showing you everything in desktop mode. Wix Studio does offer tablet and mobile. I believe the Wix standard version still only offers the desktop and the mobile version, which is fine. But as you can see here, it does like automatically optimize it for you for mobile, but you do just want to make sure that it still looks okay. Even if I go back to the home page, that section that I added, I want to make sure that it is optimized for the mobile version. The last thing is to stay consistent. Stay consistent with publishing. There is always new information being put on the internet, so you do want to make sure that you are getting your content out there and share your posts across your different social media platforms as well. Threads is a great place for you to be able to lead people to your blogs because people are already reading different posts over there anyways. If you're on Threads, you may oftentimes see like carousels or videos, and you'll also see people complaining like, why are there videos on this platform? Even myself, if I see a video pop up, even sometimes pictures, I will click not interested because I simply want to read. So Threads is a good place for you to post your blogs to get people to your blog. Those social media platforms are going to help more people discover you, your business, and your blog. And that's how you set up your Wix blog from start to finish. Once everything is in place, take a few minutes to customize the design, organize your categories, and make sure each post is easy for your audience and those search platforms to find and read. If this tutorial was helpful, go ahead and give this video a like and be sure that you are subscribed. Let me know in the comments what Wix tutorial you want to see next, and I'll see you here next time. Until then.